Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's, well, I guess this weekend's project, not just today, we're going to start building ourselves an implement shelter through here. It's not going to be very big or elaborate. I'm literally going to be taking these posts that I used a draw knife, got all the bark off of it. Then we actually torched them to try to waterproof it a little bit. Use these posts that we got from some down trees around the property and try to build some sort of shelter to keep these implements a little bit drier. It's not going to be perfect, and not have tarps directly on them so it doesn't just keep on ripping off paint and stuff like that. So that is the goal. I do not have this planned out very well. My idea, since we have a mix of trees here, we have locust tree that I'm hopefully going to use solely as the post in the ground. I think they're a little bit better than, I think this might just be tree heaven, which probably isn't that great for construction, but we had some around the property. It had fallen down, so I just cut it up, carved it up, and hopefully use that as supports across the top and just holding up the roof itself, which the roof for now might just be a tarp that we find or something like that just to hold it in place, and eventually I might put something better on the top of the roof. I do only expect this to last probably about 2 or 3 years at most because it's just some scrap wood I found around, but trying to make something a little bit easier to get in and out so I don't have to keep on taking tarps on and off of these implements. I'm thinking about having a 10-foot post and maybe going 2 or 3 feet in the ground just to hold it in place, and then by the various connecting beams I should be able to hold it sturdy, I think, without it collapsing. So just to give it a little bit more rigidity so it can stand on its own while I'm hooking up other things. I think one of the most time-consuming parts of this project will be digging these post holes into very rocky soil. Just using a post hole digger, obviously. Doing it manually. Well guys, I got about 3 foot deep there. I'm not going to do too much more today. I was just going to kind of lay out exactly where I wanted to put this. Probably take another post over there, post there. I'm gonna have to dig up some gravel and go through some of our tarp that we laid down underneath this and put a post over there as well. Got the second hole started, but I need to find a better way to loosen up the dirt. It's just too packed with rocks and everything to get in there very well. So I'm gonna think about that tonight and think of a way to break that up so it's easier to get it out of there. Hey guys, it's a new day. Went to the store this morning trying to find some sort of auger to break up the soil. I cannot find any, so I am going to have to continue to bash at this with the post hole digger and hopefully make my way through. Working on this little spot here, had to clear the gravel away so the rock wouldn't fall in the hole as I'm digging it, and had to cut through a little tarp here, put the post hole, put another one over there, and we'll have ourselves a nice little rectangle. See if I can aim in here properly. We have some pretty tough soil. Not a quick process. Deanna's here, so she's gonna take over for me. I don't think she agrees with that statement. You know what? I have the pickaxe. Might as well use that to bust up this first layer. Then just scoop it all out. Sound a little rocky?
Yeah.
Because it is. There actually used to be a barn here. We looked at satellite images and they used to have a barn here, so there could be concrete or something mixed in underneath this. Who knows? I don't know how many layers of gravel might be under here too. can't really pick up a whole lot unless it's a lot in the shovel, because it all gets clumped together in the bottom. So when you close this, it doesn't close all the way. Hopefully I can get through this rocky surface and get going here. If you want to work out, don't go to the gym. Come on over to our place in Virginia and dig some post holes. At least got smart and put a tarp next to it so I don't have to lift it up a couple extra feet every time I get the dirt out. Well folks, I think I reached the good enough stage. I wanted to get it as deep as this thing here, which is a little under 3 feet, but I think I'm just gonna have to pass that up because I am just hitting too much rock down there to get much deeper. So hopefully I have it wide enough, otherwise I'm gonna have to work at it even more. Starting to think that these post hole diggers weren't meant for busting through roots and rock. All right, time to slap some posts in here. And again, I acknowledge this is not gonna look very beautiful, and these posts are probably not really meant to be posts. This is just a temporary shelter to cover up these implements. We're kind of under a time crunch. We're going to be doing a lot of plans that are going to be taking up a lot of our weekends. So this is just a temporary solution, so I just don't have tarps laying on top of it. This will be about 32 inches in the soil here to stabilize it a bit. Obviously we're going to be cross bracing along the top to hold it in place so it's not wobbling all over the place. It's going to be about 8 feet tall because the ROP system on the tractor is about 7 feet tall. So I need to be able to back in there a little bit to be able to hook up the implements. And it's fair to say that chain is not sharpened. Let's try this again, shall we? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and torch the end of this again. Living on a hill is always interesting. Gotta torch the end of this again because I'll use this to prop it up. Speaking of, trying to keep bugs and water out of this stuff the best I can. Try not to burn my hand again too. All right, I'm gonna hit down the bottom a little bit where it's actually gonna go in the ground. Then we'll throw this thing in the ground. Again, this is definitely far from perfect, but if you have done this before, leave some tips in the comments below. I love to hear how you do it. This is me just being a beginner, not really know what I'm doing. That's why, again, this is a temporary shelter. Just trying to learn some skills and put them to use. Well, our first post is up. That is our thickest post, believe it or not. It's not very thick. So again, this is just going to be holding up a pretty skimpy roof here. It's nothing permanent. Just going to be using these skinny trees I found around, and hopefully it'll hold up to some lighter winds. It will not hold up to a hurricane, I'm sure. So how's the first post looking, Supervisor?
It looks good.
Looks good? Yeah. All right. But I'm using the locust as the post as I can, because I think they're a little bit better for ground contact than this tree of heaven that's actually an invasive species. Try to use the tree of heaven as the cross bracing and everything, and if it fails, we'll cut it up and use it as firewood and find something better. All right, got the next post nice and torched. I'm gonna cut it off right around here. But yeah, having some cement blocks to kind of hold it steady while you fill in dirt, keep it level to the way you want to attach it to both sides is always handy, as if I'm an expert. This may not be the best way to do it, but I'm just using a piece of rebar. Pack this dirt in around, make sure it gets in all the cracks. It's probably better if I use sand. There's a little bit of sand mix in this clay to hopefully have the water drain off from the post so it doesn't deteriorate as quickly, but probably should have used like all-purpose sand or something like that. All right, Well, hopefully the hardest part is done. We got 4 posts up, varying in size and shape and varying in straightness, but we should be able to attach some sort of some cross bracings and some sort of a roof to this. So it won't look the prettiest, but I think it should be able to hold up a tarp at least. All right, guys, we've been struggling, so I haven't been filming much, but we got our first beam going across. Gonna put another one across here, and the reason we're putting those on top is because we're gonna run the supports for the roof vertically. That way, when water's running through, hopefully it forms channels and it can run off. But we'll see if that works or not. We're gonna have to get relatively flat poles going across in order to make this even possible. Otherwise, it's probably just gonna collect water on top. All right, guys, today's a new day. We're gonna be using the rest of these poles that I've already carved the bark off of and burn up a little bit. Putting those on here, could be making some cross braces, and then I have some other poles I still need to debark, and obviously we will need them for this project, so I'll probably be doing that today as well. I doubt we're going to be able to finish this today, but we will see. Although this blade is pretty sharp, still quite a bit of work to get all this bark off. Trying to use as much locust trees as we can. But there's only so much around this property that we're willing to cut down right now. All this bark makes excellent tinder though, if you want to get a fire started. Deanna's getting the torching done. It's kind of a windy day, so it's making it a little bit more challenging. Well, guys, we aren't quite done yet. Deanna just cut down a tree yesterday that was overhanging a peach tree to try to give it some more sun. So we're waiting for that to dry out before we can actually treat it with the heat treat, let it get some of that moisture out of there. But we'll be running that maple going across here to fill in the gap. But I think spaced out about 3 feet should work. We might be able to just stake it down for now and tie it off until we can get the other thing dried out tomorrow, because it is kind of a windy day. Well, guys, luckily I have a few videos in the queue, so we can delay this another week to finish this up while we let that other wood dry. After we run that going across, I think we'll have enough support to create some channels for the water to run off the back. It's about 8 feet up here in front, and it's about, I think it was 5'10" in the back. So about a 2 foot drop from front to back. I think that should be enough for the water not to collect on the tarp, but we'll see. I think this will be a little bit of trial and error to get this perfected. But yeah, see you in a couple days once that wood dries. Had to run out to our little shack here to see if it actually has the water wisping off, and it seems to be doing a pretty good job. It's kind of running off the side over there. That'll probably eventually rot, but it's good that it's going down. It's going down the middle part. It's doing what we thought it would do. It is collecting in a few spots, but that should run down once it gets to a certain level. Yeah, not too bad. It's raining pretty hard. We'll just have to see how long this tarp holds up over time.